What is an M5? The thing is, that answer always changes from the E28, which was an inline-six, the E39, which is an NA-V8, the E60, which was an NA-V10, and then the F10, which is the first twin-turbo V8 M5, and then there was the F90, which is a bit heavier and more modern, and then this is the hybrid twin-turbo V8 M5. There is no one through line through any of these objects except for one thing. It's the idea that a sedan should be able to beat a supercar. So is there really a wrong M5 or the wrong idea of an M5? And I would argue with you, just like an M3, there is no wrong idea, and there is it's stupid to have this idea that, oh, it's not a real M5, because what the hell is a real M5? They don't even know what it is. So then let's talk about what it looks like, because an M5 has always been, actually they're not all gorgeous when you think about it. It's really in the eye of the beholder. The E60 is not everyone's cup of tea, but kind of every other one was a banger. And I think it's important to talk about the design of this car because it's also not for everyone. It's much like the E60, it's just as controversial. I think from this angle, it's quite good. It looks really nice. It's wide, looks imposing, looks cool. But then from the front, it looks a bit lost and hapless. It's kind of a mixed bag, and I think there's just so much metal on it. There's so much surface. You can see all the work they're doing to break up that surface, all the folds, and I mean, we're long away from the days of crisp angles flame surfacing, but this sort of like retro future super angular thing is its own art style. It's generally an okay looking object if you ignore the fact that it's absolutely huge whenever you park it next to, like, I don't know, a Jeep Compass. Another thing that's all new is this interior. It's the same as the 5 Series interior, sort of, just M-ified, which means it comes with the 5 Series' issues. So here's a couple things I hate right off the bat. These electronically controlled vents, stupid. Why should I be able to, why am I controlling the vent flow with a touch thing? That's idiotic. There's also this. You control the direction of the flow with this little nub down here. What happened? What happened to 4 slats horizontal, 3 slats vertical, and you just move it? Another thing that super annoys me, it's on the steering wheel. So this is a new steering wheel, new gen of M steering wheel. This is gonna go on all the cars now. You have adaptive cruise control in this car. It's really good, except for one thing. There is no distance control on the wheel. You have to go through 5 menus to change how close the car will follow, and even then it still won't tailgate people as God intended. We lost that wonderful M shifter, that actual little stick that you can shift with. You can actually pull back to shift up, push down to shift down, and that was a nice feature. I looked forward to that in every automatic M car I ever drove, because I had a second option to cruise. I didn't have to go up and reach with the paddle. I could just one hand and sort of shift that way. Now I'm forced to use a paddle, and also the stack of it is kind of nonsense. You have a reverse neutral drive, whatever, but park is down here inexplicably, and it doesn't look like park. It's just a parking brake button. I don't get that. This center stack, pretty complicated. There's a lot of functions here. You have M hybrid, M mode, setup, TC. The volume knob is down here. It's a little far back for how far forward I sit. Maybe that's just because I'm short. But there's so many functions here that meaningfully change the driving experience that take a lot of knowledge and setup to get to know. And just because I have the advantage of having driven a bunch of these things, I can't imagine like new customers to this will have an easy time with this. This will take time to get used to. Once you get used to that, you can map it to your M paddles up here, which have been in a few M cars in the past few years, pretty much all of them now. And once you're done with that, all good. Then there's the interior quality and sort of ambiance and vibe. It's very quiet in here, super quiet on the highway. It doesn't feel that special a place to be in, but I do really like the ambient lighting. I like that it's like this kind of paint looking thing. You can change the color, it's like green, pink, whatever. It's really nice color selection in that. I do really like that. The vibe is okay, but it doesn't feel special enough, and it doesn't really feel M enough. I think it's probably down to these seats. I don't have bucket seats and that stuff, but do you really want that? I don't know. All right, one last thing before we drive. Let's look under the hood, because this is the most interesting part of the new M5. It is the S68 plus M hybrid system. The powertrain is pretty much lifted as is from an XM. It's an extremely powerful, potent unit, but it's extremely heavy because it was designed for an SUV, and from what I hear down the grapevine, is a massive contributor to the car's curb weight of 5,400 plus pounds, sometimes 6,000. It really depends. They're very coy about it because M is shy now about how much people roasted how heavy this car is. Rightfully so, it's way too heavy. Really sick engine, lots of power, but let's go drive it now. Right, driving the M5. keeps getting more interesting. Here's the thing with M5s is all of them have been pretty heavy, big sedans. The E39 M5 was no lightweight. It was like 3,700 pounds, 3,800 pounds, and maybe even heavier. That was a heavy car even back then. E60 M5 is no different, even with that V10. What I could accuse a few M5s of being were edgy and interesting, naturally aspirated, motorsport-inspired things. Then when the twin-turbo V8 M5 started happening, they became a lot less of that and a lot more of a cruiser. This is not an edgy, insane, makes you feel things super sedan. It's not like the M3 Comp, which was really cool, had a lot of noises, a lot of theater. The thing is, the facsimile of motorsport in this car isn't that strong, so driving it, the shifts aren't as hard as in other M cars. The ZF shifts quite smooth. It's really quiet in here. There's not a lot of road noise, there's not a lot of wind noise. The engine's very quiet. You just get this low thrum and a lot of thrust. For sure, a lot of thrust. But you don't feel particularly connected to the thing in any way. The steering is completely dead, even just going now. The brake feel, by the way, okay, we're gonna talk about the brake feel real quick. It is, as far as I could tell, brake-by-wire, because hybrid and all that. So you can adjust the brake feel in the menu. That is stupid. There's only good brake feel and bad brake feel. There's sport and comfort. Comfort is the good brake feel. Sport just gives it a bunch of annoying initial bite that sucks and makes your passengers throw up. I hate that. Okay, so back to it. Even if I'm not feeling a lot of emotions, what's happening beneath me is extremely impressive. And now I'm getting to a twisty bit of pavement, so let's give it a bit of a hustle. Gets up and goes, this thing. Jesus wept. Ooh, yeah. It knows how to play so much torque right to the rear tire, so the tail starts moving around. Makes it really easy and opaque to sense what the car wants to do. It's not as snappy as some other M cars. The edge is really filed down, nice and round, super approachable and super easy. But as far as steering feel, this is like some of the worst steering I've felt in a BMW, actually. It is so numb, and what pisses me off is it's really non-linear, the responsiveness of it. Working with the rear steer, you turn in a little bit and it turns in a lot. It does this shoulder check thing, so you have to be very smooth with turning the car in. It's like over-rotating and then it catches itself over-rotating. It's like what I said in the intro. It's trying so hard to solve the problem it created, the problem of its mass. This car weighs 5,309 pounds, okay? It makes 717 horsepower and 738 pound-feet of torque. The power to weight is not power to weighting. It is effectively the same thing as before, if not a bit worse. They made it heavier by adding more power, adding more hybrid, but God, like 1,000 pounds for 100 horsepower is not worth the calculation. I don't think. Do you think? I don't think. I do have to admit, I'll concede here that the V8 is quite lovely, actually. The calibration of it is excellent. The hybrid system is really good. It's the 4.4-liter twin-turbo V8, the S68, coupled to a 197 horsepower electric motor in the gearbox with the ZF 8-speed. It's your same X-Drive system, which is basically, it sends power backwards first, then to the front. It all routes to the gearbox, so when you're in electric mode, it actually shifts through all 8 gears. It's kind of strange. You get a 22 kilowatt-hour battery, so you actually get usable EV range. You get about 30 miles to a full charge, which actually super useful. I don't hate that. I don't hate the fact that I can just run it in electric mode whenever I want. It's nice for crawling around town and I'm not just wasting gas, because this car does get really bad city economy. It's still a big V8 hauling around a big car, so that electric motor comes in handy. It's also powerful enough that when you need to lean into it and you need to give it some power, it's so responsive. You're not waiting a second for any power. It is crazy how quick this car is, but it's also crazy how big this car is. It feels like I'm driving an SUV. The amount of space I actually have in the lane is not much. If you put me in this without letting me see it before I got in, I'd be like, oh, I'm in an X3 or I'm in an X5. If I'm sitting in a sedan, but I feel like I'm driving an SUV, what the hell is the point? Why am I even in this? It weighs as much as an SUV. I'm sitting as high up. It's got the space like an SUV. It's like, okay, I might as well just buy an SUV. If it simply was just a twin-turbo V8 M5, I feel like this would be a meaningfully better car. They didn't think this through. They never stopped to think, should we do this? They just did it. The thing is, maybe I'm just a hater. In the last few months of all the cars I've gotten, this car has gotten the most compliments. I park it at any gas station, there's at least one dude in a Camaro who's like, it's a car, bro. It goes hard. I'm not even kidding. It's like a thing. The crowd loves this thing. It's huge, it's imposing, it looks crazy. For that, it accomplishes things. The interior is gorgeous. I really like the ambient lighting. I like the vibe and feel. I like the quietness. Let's take a breather on the Canyon stuff and thinking about cornering. Let's think about it as an M5, as a sedan, as a one-car solution that you're meant to use every day. And it starts making a little more sense. This car gets really decent fuel economy, the low to mid 20s actually on the highway, which is crazy for what it weighs and the engine it has. The ride, a bit on the stiff side, and I don't like that Sport Plus is overdamped, so it's really bouncy, and Comfort is underdamped, so what happens is it feels okay until it gets a big bump, and then it bounces you up because it hits the bump stop. So Sport damping is actually the correct damping, the middle damping setting. It's good for the Canyon and good for the road, good for the freeway. I still have some annoyances here. For example, the air vents, which I talked about in the interior segment, but even then I hate them so much. And the climate control is also nonsense because it runs really warm, so I feel like I'm running 5 degrees colder temperatures than I would in any other car. The cooled seats don't work that well. I mean, they do work. I hear them blowing. It just doesn't cool the seat down, defeating the purpose. There's also this very silly AR display, which I guess I hope we got B-roll of that, but it just shows the road in front of me, which I'm staring at. The weird thing about this car is it doesn't feel like other M cars. This thing is so muted. It's so subdued. It's so quiet. Even the M8, the other big one that they still make amazingly, they still make the M8 Grand Coupe, the 4-door. That car is spectacular because it's aggressive, it's edgy, it moves around. Maybe because this isn't a comp yet, this is just a normal M5, and there will be an M5 competition that will be a little harder, a little faster, a little crazier. Maybe that's when I'll feel that attitude, but as it is, this thing's kind of like, it kind of feels like a 540i. And here's where I think this car is a real problem. You could just buy an M3 comp for 105, 110 grand over this for 130 base or 150 as tested. And you get a car that's just as comfortable, just as practical, practically just as fast, drives better, is 1,300 pounds lighter. I know it's not the same size class, but like seriously, M3 comp is huge now. M5 is so big, but for some reason it's so big outside, it's not that much bigger in here. Okay, maybe here's the verdict of the M5 is, yes, it can do all these things. It's capable, it can corner, it can do all this stuff, but fundamentally, maybe this is really just an Autobahn smasher, which an M5 always has been. So, the M5. Everyone wants to hate this thing, me included. I didn't really want to like it, and when I initially drove it, when I first got it in my driveway, I was like, what is wrong with this hunk of shit? It doesn't feel like 700 horsepower because it weighs so much. The weight is a defining feature of this car, unfortunately, no matter how hard BMW tries to hide it. You could feel it in the mid-corner. You could feel how it nibbles away at tires. Even with how much fuel I've burned today, just driving it around and filming it, has been absurd. The fuel economy is terrible in the Canyons. You can't really use the thing. The flip side is, it's a brilliant object. An M5, as I think of it, is a super sedan built for its era. This is the heavy, hybrid, powerful, quiet car era. In that way, this fills that mandate. This is exactly what an M5 should be in 2025. It is a big, powerful hybrid thing. If you judge it against the old greats, against the E28, against the E39, it'll always lose. It will never have that same engagement. It'll never have that same cult following. Nostalgia is a powerful, powerful thing. Maybe in 20 years there'll be nostalgia for this. I doubt it. But as an M5, this lives up to it. This is an M5. Does that mean I have to like it? Does that mean I have to love it? No. Do I love it? Not really. I don't care for it much. I'd rather be in a Cayman or something. But for someone who's looking for this is a great super sedan with a great hybrid system. It's fast as shit and it's comfortable.